What's up, everybody? It is Thegoal60 here for week 3 of the 2018 college football season. So this week, still got some good matchups coming up. We've seen a few big upsets. I've been on the wrong side of an upset this season, and I feel like we'll continue to see those this season. But hopefully these picks that I got this week will do well, and we can get on the right side of things. What's up, everybody? So the video that you're about to get into was actually filmed on Wednesday. This first team, or the first game that I talk about, is actually Boston College. And the reason I haven't edited it out is just because it was a winner, and I was actually going to leave it in no matter if it's a winner or loser. I was going to kind of let you go ahead and see it and, get all the points and why I went with Boston College like I did. If you follow me on Twitter at Thegoal60, as soon as I figured out Wednesday that I wasn't going to be able to upload a video, I traveled for work this week, had terrible internet, and just could not get the video to upload. I tried it several times, but when I figured that out, I went ahead and put all 3 plays out on Twitter. That way, if anybody wanted to look into those games or want to go ahead and take those games or go against those games or whatever you want to do, you could do so then. But either way, I just wanted to knock this clip out real quick, kind of give you an explanation of why it's being uploaded on Friday, but with content of a game that happened on Thursday. So either way, hopefully you get some good information out of this video. Hopefully it'll help you make some picks, whether you go, with or against or whatever. Just here's my reasoning behind the picks that I come up with, and I hope you enjoy it. So either way, I'll see you Sunday on the recap, the live stream at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Until then, thanks. Now, this first game I want to talk about is an ACC game going on Thursday night. It has been pushed up to 6:30 Eastern Time, and that is with Boston College and Wake Forest. Now, BC is a 4.5-point favorite with a total of around 54 currently. And I have projections of Boston College putting up a lot of yards this week. I know they've played nobody the first couple weeks, but if you watch my preseason videos, you know that I was pretty high on them this year, and I think that this is going to be a statement game for them. I have Boston College rushing for around 200 to 210 yards and passing between 270 and 290. On the flip side, I have Wake Forest rushing for around 160 yards and passing around 200 to 210. Injuries of note, Wake Forest is down 2 quarterbacks. One was not an injury, it was a suspension. And I believe he's been suspended since the start of the year anyways, has not played yet. And the other was the backup who was actually the starter this year and got hurt last game. Now, I did give Wake Forest a 1.5 as far as home field advantage here. And as far as head coaching trends against the spread, Boston College's head coach is 16-9 away from BC. And 18-7 with revenge. Now, last year, Wake Forest did win this game, so there is a revenge factor built in there. As far as Wake Forest head coach, he is 2-5 against a team with revenge. So playing a team who he beat last season, he's 2-5 against the spread. So everything points so far to Boston College. As far as team trends against the spread, Boston College is 4-1 their last 5 after scoring 40-plus points the week before. They're 5-0 their last 5 in road games. They're 5-0 their last 5 as favorites. They're 6-0-1 their last 7 in the conference. And they're 10-1-1 their last 12 after a straight up and against the spread victory. Now those are obviously most recent trends. Those are not 20 years worth of data. That's just things that have happened recently. On the flip side, Wake Forest is 3-7 their last 10 Thursday night games. They're 0-5-1 their last 6 as a home dog of 3.5 to 10 points. And they're 3-8-1 their last 12 as a dog of 3.5 to 10 points, no matter home or away. So everything points to Boston College in this to me. Now the line has moved towards Wake Forest. That means that there is money coming in on Wake Forest. And I think that the longer you wait, the more value you're going to get. Earlier this morning it was -5. Now it's -4.5. I just think that Boston College -4.5 is the way to go here. So BC -4.5 is my first pick of the week. Now, the second game I've got picked out is an early game on Saturday morning, starting off around noon Eastern time, and that is in the Big 12 with Oklahoma and Iowa State. Now, Oklahoma is traveling to Iowa State this week, and they are a minus 18 favorite on the road with a total of 55.5. Projected stats, I have Oklahoma at 135 rushing with 210 passing, and I have Iowa State as a very low, around 65 to 75 yards rushing and 160 passing. Now, one big note this week is that Iowa State did lose their starting quarterback last week to injury. That was their first game of the season playing their rival against Iowa. You know, the first weekend did get rained out, so last week was their first chance to play, and they did lose their quarterback. Now, this quarterback that I'm speaking of was actually the guy who come in last year against Oklahoma and led Iowa State to an upset victory on the road against the Sooners. Now, that is a big point to me, is the fact that Oklahoma will have some revenge in this game. You know, as you get into the conference, you start looking into things like revenge because, like last year, Oklahoma, I believe, was a 31-point favorite. Ended up losing that game at home by 7 to a backup quarterback. That's things that they keep in their mind. Now, of course, Oklahoma has had some big injuries as well. Their running back went down for the year, and in a lot of people's eyes, he was one of the top running backs in the country. So both teams come into this game with big firepower that got hurt last week and look to replace that this week. Head coaching trends, I've only got Iowa State trends that really stood out to me, and that is with Matt Campbell is 9-2 against the spread at home. He's 13-5 as a dog. He's 10-3 off of a loss, and he's 13-5 in conference. Oklahoma, like I said, does have the revenge factor in this game for them. As far as team trends, Iowa State to the under is 4-0, their last 4 games overall. Of course, that goes back to last season, but it is a team trend. And they're also under, which is 4-0, their last 4 games following a game where they held their opponent to under 20 points. Also, the under is 6-1, their last 7 as a underdog. Everything in this game, to me, points towards the under. Now, there is some value that has been lost in this game because it was closer to 57.5. It was, I believe that's what it opened up at. And this week it has come down a little bit. So there's still some value there, I think. Even though I see Oklahoma winning this game, I'm not too sure about the spread, you know, with that revenge built in. But also the fact that it's a completely different team, you know, a different quarterback now for Oklahoma, that sort of thing. So I don't know how much that's going to factor in. I just see this game going under, and that's why I picked under 55.5 as my second play. And the third and final game I have this week actually is in the SEC, and it is at 3:30 Eastern time, and that is between LSU and Auburn. So this is a Tiger-on-Tiger, you know, rivalry game here, and this is a big deal in the SEC West. This is a traditional rival, obviously, and right now the Auburn Tigers are a 9.5-point favorite at home with a over/under of around 44.5. Now, I have projected of LSU rushing the ball around 135 yards, passing around 160. I have Auburn rushing for 120 yards and passing around 280. One stat that jumped out to me about LSU is that their quarterback, who everybody seems to be really high on after 2 games, it has been hurried 40% of the time that he drops back. And on those plays, he is 2-15 passing. So out of 17 pass attempts, he's only completed 2 of them. That's, you know, terrible in my opinion. And I think that Auburn's going to watch that a whole lot. Obviously, they've been paying attention to that, and I think they're going to rush him as much as possible. Head coaching trends, one that stood out to me was that Auburn, Malzahn is 15-6 with revenge against the spread. Now, last year, if you remember, the Tigers went down, Auburn went down, and to Death Valley and was ahead by double digits in the first half, and then took their foot off the gas and let LSU actually come back and beat them in that game. So obviously some revenge here, some things to look at for Auburn that's been on their mind for a long time. As far as home field advantage, I did give Auburn 2.5 points for home field this week. And as far as team trends, LSU is 1-5. Their last 6 is a road dog of 3.5 to 10 points. They're also 1-3-1 after winning a game by 20 or more points the week before. Auburn is 4-1 their last 5 conference games, and also they are 7-3-1 their last 11 after winning a game by 20 or more points the week before. So as you can see, those stats, I try to find stats that, as much as possible, kind of line up with each other and compare those between the two teams, and that's kind of what I've come up with here. Now, one stat that really jumps off the page to me is not necessarily against the spread stat, it's just a straight up stat, and that is that the home team in this series is 16-2 their last 18 games. So the last 18 years, the home team is 16-2 straight up. So to me, that really pushes ahead on this. And I know this seems like a big line, but I just feel like Auburn has more firepower, and I really think they're going to expose a lot from LSU. And it's not that I think that Auburn's going to come out and score 50 points, because I don't. The over-under in this game is 44.5. But I do think that Auburn is going to control the clock. They're going to get some quick passes. They're going to try to, open up and get these really good DBs from LSU backing off. And then I think they're going to try to hit them deep. And vice versa. I really think they're going to try to control the clock with the passing game and also try to establish a run, which Auburn has not been able to do a whole lot this year. But I think that they will in this game, because I think they'll be very balanced. And for those reasons, I just feel like Auburn minus the points, minus 9.5 at home, even with that amount of points, is the right way to go here. So the Auburn Tigers minus 9.5 is my third play for this week. Now, last week we did hit our degenerate play of the week. I've been doing the first 2 videos this year, is give out one crazy money line that's just, for fun. We're 1-1 in those. We had Arizona State last week against Michigan State. Arizona State did beat them 16-13. Let's go back to the Pac-12 this week with Utah at home at plus 210 against Washington. This game is traditionally close. It's tough to go play at Utah, and I actually have this game as a pick'em. So I'm going with the money line, and I'm taking Utah plus 210. And last, this is the first time I'll be doing this year, but last year I had some success with this also, is giving out my leans, just things that didn't really make it, but just kind of, if you're looking for, other plays and just kind of want to look into some games, these are some good games to try to research and figure out if you agree with me or not. And that is Missouri minus 6, the revenge there against Purdue. Vanderbilt plus 14. I know it's against Notre Dame, but Notre Dame did not look good last week, and I think Vanderbilt can take advantage. Alabama and Ole Miss under 71. Contrarian play there. TCU plus 14. I think they're going to play with the edge. And Kansas minus 2.5. It'd be something if Kansas comes out and gets their second game in a row and becomes 2-1 on the year. Now that's it for this week. That is week 3 of the college football season. Whether you follow, fade, or pass, good luck no matter what you do there. Also, don't forget about on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, I'll have a recap of everything that happened on Saturday, and then we'll look forward to week 4. And also, guys, keep those folks up in the Carolinas and Virginia and all those areas in your thoughts this week. That hurricane's coming in. It looks like it's going to get right on top of them and sit there just like Harvey did last year in Texas. So just keep them in your thoughts. And that's all I have today. So I'll see you next time. Thanks.
60% of the time, it works every time.